Hi, and welcome back. Thank you as always for tuning in and spending a little time with us. Before we get into headlines tonight, I got to spend, like a whole lot of other parents today, some time at North Magoffin Elementary for us for their school play. And I have to make a couple of remarks on that front. First off, I actually got invited up to South Magoffin Elementary yesterday and today, and I know that for the second year at least now in a row, and I say at least, they have been making up for the Del Barton group, who we are missing here in Magoffin County around the holidays. They, of course, for more than 3 decades came to support Magoffin County because they loved us so well, but after a storm of another nature hit their area, well, they've been having to tend to their own, understandably. And South Magoffin Elementary, I think, had all their kids a gift yesterday in their Christmas play, and Christmas plays all around elementary schools today, and I couldn't make it. I did make it to Andrews today, and I would also show you a little of that had, well, someone, and I'll not mention any names, left the camera and equipment in the vehicle last night, and it fogged up and stayed that way for the better part of an hour or so throughout the play. So I did get to sit back and enjoy myself, which was nice, as did a host of other parents. They cut the play into 2 days this year so they could get everyone in, and even though they did that, they still had as big of a crowd for half of the play that they've ever had for the entire play. It just shows you how much we indeed do love our children, and we should thank our schools for putting together those Christmas plays. They do mean a lot. With all of that said, headlines tonight will include an updated forecast for you. Still talking about a couple of chances of snowfall. For Saturday, those chances are falling. For Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, they're kind of staying about 60-40. I'll tell you more about that in a second. We're going to have a white Christmas. That all depends on your definition of white. If a flake makes it white for you, I'm pretty safe that we're going to have it, but maybe not a whole lot more than that. An update on a couple of court cases, that being the case of a murdered Johnson County woman, and also the case that's ongoing here in Magoffin County in regards to the election, and another update for you since I have a little time this evening. I'll get to all of that and more just a few moments. Right now, though, a little bit of positive news. The Kentucky Office of the Kentucky Office of Employment and Training, not Unemployment and Training, but the Kentucky Office of Employment and Training reported out today that last month's seasonally adjusted rate was actually down from what was an estimated 6.2% jobless rate in October. They say that the rate fell to 6% in November, and they also confirmed that that's the lowest rate in the Commonwealth in more than 6 years. And they also say that by comparison, the rate in November was 2.1% below the state's 8.1% rate a year ago to date. The reason why it fell, they say, in November, manufacturing in the state of Kentucky held pretty much on an even keel from October to November, while employment in, of course, mining, as well as the logging industry, continued to drop by about 400 jobs last month. Now for our first headline this evening, and that will be a court case coming from Johnson County. A woman murdered in Knott County, a man jailed about a month later. The latest developments, and there has been another motion for bond reduction and some news to be brought about the case of the death of Christina Barnett of Johnson County. You might go back to 2013 when she was at that time last seen on the 18th day of September in Hazard after she had left her home. Her family said that after being reported missing, they began a search for her, and members of that family search party, as you may recall, actually discovered her body badly burned and covered by a television and other debris alongside Kentucky Route 80.
As the investigation began to unfold, Barnett's mother, Donna Hale, said that her daughter was last seen at a gas station in Hazard after she had left their home on the 18th. She was traveling to London with a man from Johnson County that she had reportedly met on the internet, a car salesman, as she described. That was the last time she was seen by the family. Her body was discovered lying alongside Route 80. She was officially identified sometime thereafter by the state medical examiner's office, and a little more than a month later, a man from Johnson County was arrested and charged with her murder, as well as tampering with physical evidence and abuse of a corpse. He was identified by the Kentucky State Police as 37-year-old Gary Ward of Mealy. He was arrested at his home, and he has been lodged in the Kentucky River Regional Jail since that incarceration. Meanwhile, the family, including Christina's mother, believes that Ward is the man that she had met online and is also the one that she had gone to London with on that afternoon. And Ward and his attorneys had made either the 5th or 6th, I believe by my count, request for bond reduction Thursday the 11th last week. His bond had been initially put at $500,000 in cash. It was later reduced by sitting Judge Kim Childers to $300,000 in cash, and a recent reduction request that was placed, as I said again on Thursday, was denied, and it remains at $300,000 in cash, and he remains in the Kentucky River Detention Center. He has a pretrial hearing set for April the 23rd. That is in Knott County. He also has jury selection set for May the 11th is when the trial is expected to begin and slated for at this time, May the 11th of next year, also in Knott County. I spoke with Barnett's mother on the telephone earlier today, and she says her focus right now is just simply trying to make it through the holidays. I'll be right back with more of your news today after these messages.
In headlines pertaining to the civil lawsuit filed on behalf of Magoffin County Judge Executive candidate John Montgomery, there was a motion hour to be had today. It was set for this afternoon in the Magoffin County Circuit Courtroom before the Honorable Judge Kim Childers to hear arguments concerning motions that had been filed on behalf of Montgomery by his attorneys. However, those motions were not heard.
Motions filed on Monday of this week in Magoffin County Circuit Court. Motions that include one for motion for removal of election materials to be placed in possession of the Magoffin Circuit Court. It says in part that they move for an order for all voting machines, ballots, stub books, and other papers concerning which there is any ground for contest to be removed to the Magoffin Circuit Court, and that Montgomery has the right to access those voting materials that will likely form a substantial part of the proof of his contest of the 2014 general election for Magoffin County Judge Executive. It also says in its conclusion for that particular motion that the court should remove all election materials from precincts cited in Montgomery's petition, which I believe were all but one, if I'm not mistaken, in Magoffin County, and the court should also remove and or provide access to the absentee materials which were in the possession of the Kentucky Attorney General, which were seized just a couple of days after the election. Also a motion, a memorandum of law in support of the petitioner's motion for a scheduling order requesting an extension of time. Montgomery asking that his attorneys and himself have a little more time for the discovery purposes of all the material involved therein, as well as a motion in support of Montgomery's motion to leave to take depositions. However, those motions were not heard today, as the Honorable Kim Childers has officially recused herself as of Tuesday of this week, in doing so requesting that a special judge be appointed. Regional Judge of the Mountain Region of Judicial Circuits, John David Cottle, has since appointed a practicing Johnson County attorney who is now in his second term as Circuit Judge, John David Cottle, to preside over the case. Now, no new dates have been set, as I understand, for those motions to be heard or any further proceedings. Those named in the lawsuit, which consist of all the Magoffin County Board of Elections, as well as Magoffin County Judge Executive Charles Hardin, have 20 days to respond to the suit after they have been served. Their dates of serve for each of those individuals named range from December the 6th through December the 15th.
And more news in a moment. Right now, announcements on tonight's Magoffin Farm Bureau community calendar.
With a few reminders on our community calendar this evening, including beginning with this one. The New Life Worship Center has their drama presentation tomorrow night, 7:30, entitled The End of the Beginning. It's going to be at New Life Worship Center. Pastor William Paul Perkins and everyone invites you to attend. This is a PG-13 rated showing, and it starts once again tomorrow night, 7:30, once again at New Life Worship Center. And a few other holiday reminders as well as we go through calendar announcements this Thursday. I keep wanting to refer to it as Wednesday, and I'm not sure why. The Elk Creek Free Will Baptist Church Youth Group has their Christmas program set for this Saturday evening at 6, and this is your special invitation. And this apparently is the end of a relatively brief community calendar, which will give me just a second to run through the contact information. If you got a birthday, you got an anniversary, you got an announcement, they're free, and all you have to do is drop them in the mail at P.O. Box 1443 in Sagersville. Dial us up at 349-3699 and leave a message, a descriptive message. Spell any names that might need a little help with multiple spellings, things of that nature. Fax it to me at 349-3221. YourNewsToday@yahoo.com is an email address that I check numerous times a day, and I'm on Facebook at Ritter Mortimer. You can always drop them off here at the newsroom on East Maple Street, just above the Sagersville Post Office. Now turning to a few funeral announcements this evening, we have the following. Services have now been set in honor of Charles Edwin Howard Jr., Charles Eddie Howard of Lebanon, Ohio, who passed away on the 15th, the son of Charles Edwin Sr., and Betty Mann Howard. Visitation is this evening and tomorrow until services. They'll start tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Visitation and services will be from the Magoffin County Funeral Home. A burial will follow services tomorrow at the Reisner Cemetery at Coon Creek. 62-year-old Bonnie Lou Fletcher Roark of Sagersville passed away Tuesday, the daughter of Pauline Gibson and the late McKinley Fletcher, and besides her mother, she's survived by her husband Kearney, son Harold, and daughters Loretta and Tracy Lynn Roark. Visitation is this evening, and it's also up until services, which start tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. Visitation and services both from the Bethlehem to Calvary Church. Burial is going to take place at the Patrick Lovely Cemetery. The Magoffin County Funeral Home is in charge of arrangements, once again, for 62-year-old Bonnie Roark. And 57-year-old Deborah Howard Zola of Bradenton, Florida, passed away on the 8th, formerly of Magoffin County, the daughter of the late Orville and Hilda Howard. And she was married to Thomas Zola, who survives. Also surviving are sons John and Lionel Rodriguez, daughters Heather Rodriguez and Brandy Harlan. Visitation will start Sunday morning at 9. Services start Sunday afternoon at 1 on the same day. Services will be at the Magoffin County Funeral Home, and burial will be at the Prater Kazee Cemetery at Falcon. And I'll be right back following these messages.
Well, I've got a little time since I had a little time earlier today to spend with the family and catch Andrew's Christmas play at North Magoffin. So I thought I would maybe check in and see just how far it's gone. It's getting to be somewhat obscene. Nevertheless, they are at more than 3.2 million views and counting.
I was watching this over on the YouTube the other night. I'm over at the Walmart's,
and his attempt to get out of duct tape, 3.3 million views and a little better as of airtime this evening. And it's just been a couple of short weeks. And that's just on their Facebook account. That's just on Ralph Adams, local veterinarian Ralph Adams' Facebook account. So they also have other websites which have since picked up his failed attempt. HappyPlaceSomeEcards.com, Reddit.com, RedneckRepairs.com, and a lot of other sites are getting in on this. I don't know what it takes to start to get a little bit of return on their somewhat small investment of a portion of a roll of duct tape and a little time with a camera phone, but it should be coming back their way sometime, to some degree. 3.3 million views, plus a whole lot of other views that have been seen elsewhere on all these other before-mentioned sites, and it's just something that... Okay, I know I've showed it to you. This makes the third time, possibly. It's 2.5, technically. I've probably watched it another dozen times myself. I get the same laugh every time. Can't help it. And apparently so are a lot of other folks, which probably are into the millions, because I'd say out of those 3 million people, if everyone watches it 3 times on an average, you still got more than 1 million people which have took notice of these 2 local country boys.
Ain't gonna work. I just done something with my sternum.
Now it's time to wrap this one up a few minutes early, but wrap it up. You get it? Wrap it up nevertheless. This Thursday with a low of 27 degrees tonight. We started off at 23 today, hit 38. It was cloudy and it was cold. And that's just how I'm going to put tonight. Mostly cloudy, calm winds, and a low of 27 tonight. And we've got a little more activity coming just around the bend. Keep that in mind. We're still keeping our eye on the potential for not so much of a weather maker for this Saturday, but by Christmas Eve, maybe a little bit of Christmas Day, and then maybe on the backside of the holiday weekend. I'll get to that in just a second. Let's start with Friday's forecast. Tomorrow, we've got some sunshine returning. Temperatures, though, pretty much on par for today. I think we'll see 39 degrees tomorrow on your Friday, but the difference will be less clouds, more sun. That's a good thing. A low below freezing tomorrow night. It looks to be dry. Clouds will start to be on the increase tomorrow night. We have a 10% chance of some snow. That is after 5 a.m. Keep that in mind into your Saturday morning. Keep also in mind that Saturday's forecast will have with it a chance of some rain and snow, mainly before 1. Right now, this thing is just kind of fizzled out as it's gotten closer. I expect to see a little light mix of some rain and some flakes on your Saturday. No accumulation really in the forecast or in the sky. I just don't believe we're on the ground. Cloudy skies, and like I said, that mix which should wind down about midday Saturday. Mostly cloudy skies prevail Saturday night. And here's your Sunday, the last half of the last weekend before Christmas. Sunny. Mostly sunny skies return, and a high of 44, a low of 33. Not too bad of a day all in all. Sunday night we may have a chance of some showers, and it will be rain, about a 30% shot, and it's mainly after 9 o'clock Sunday night. That precipitation may continue into your Monday, a 30 to 40% chance of showers throughout Monday and Monday night. Temperatures climbing, and that's a trend that we'll see through Tuesday. 48, mostly cloudy on your Monday, 38 for the low. Tuesday, we have rain likely and warm air likely. In all likelihood, a daytime high of 51 on your Tuesday. But like I said, mostly cloudy and showers across the board on your Tuesday and into your Tuesday night when nighttime lows are not going to get anywhere close to freezing. Now comes the interesting part where we've got a whole lot of factors to deal with. Wednesday, Christmas Eve, first of 2 or 3 winter weather makers possibly. Daytime highs look to be right around 42. Lows of around 29 Wednesday night. We've got a chance of rain and snow that actually might work its way in pretty early on Wednesday. It's going to be the best chance, but some of that precipitation might carry over into your Christmas Day. We're going to see some snow and we're going to see some winds. Accumulations not going there, but flakes and some wind enough to bluster them about is certainly right now a pretty good possibility. Christmas Eve into your Christmas Day. So if that meets your definition of a white Christmas, well, there you go. Now, while this does indeed have a winter storm to some degree coming through right around the holidays, there's a lot of low pressure and a lot of other factors coming in after the holidays that could equal a long ride home for anyone making that holiday commute. That's right. Another winter system is set to take aim at us, and that will be towards the latter part of your Christmas vacation, if you will. Not for the students, they'll be off through the first of the year, but for everyone else of us who will be celebrating, hopefully through the end of the weekend. And that's as it stands now. Tomorrow's another day closer to Christmas, another day that we'll have a better idea of the forecast, and another day full of headlines that you only see with me. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Until then, have a nice, warm, holiday-esque night. Good night.